my sense is that this conversation about the astrology is new moon happening on January 2nd. It's the first new moon of the year. That signifies the overarching energy of the year. Of course, there's lots of changing energy of the year, but it signifies overarching energy of the year. So what we're going to dive into today is, yes, specific to the new moon on January 2nd. It's also giving us a flavor, and I feel like I will most likely dive a bit more into the full flavor of this year, because that's what's really screaming in my system at this moment. I'm going to give you the big themes. There's maybe 5 or 6 really big themes. I want to, I kind of just want to shake things up for you, for me, for anyone that you maybe share this with, anyone who listens to this. Like, there is this moment where we are cracking out of the old, finally, and we're just starting to get glimpses of the new. And so in that, I mean, it's almost perfect that this wind is so ridiculously crazy up here today, is because in that like chaos, in the discombobulation, in the being shaken up, it's being woken up. And so my feel is, my aim, I don't even know if it's my aim. I don't know, it's just my sense of what the fuck's coming. I'm trying to give you a little bit of a preview so you can feel into, whoa, how do I journey through this conversation? How do I journey through this video? Also, to share with you, this is being recorded 2 days before the start of Gift of Mysteries, the start of our 3-month mystery school program. That's a particular energy of deep fucking sacred reverence to the divine. And that is also flavoring this conversation. When a part of our community sits in a circle like that, it ripples out. So it's rippling out into this conversation as that circle of women is starting to form, whether it's the free week, the Gift of Mysteries, or whether it's the women gathering for the 3-month journey. There is an energetic that's spilling out into this conversation today. So, yeah, just journey through this the way you fucking feel to, right? Journey through this conversation the way that you feel to. All right. Let's, so when I close my eyes and I feel, and this feels much more like a workshop, like we're literally sitting in a retreat space. The way that the juice is flowing and the light and it's all so crazy open at the moment, but we're gonna go with it. So the first thing that arises for me when I feel into the astrology is to talk about the dark goddess. She, fuck, is she loud. She's squaring this new moon. So this is the new moon, new beginnings, new starts. And this is January 2nd, the first new moon of the year. So let's just say it kind of shades the whole year. And she's, the moon, Luna, is fucking squaring 2 very potent dark goddess asteroids. 2 dark goddess asteroids that really demand feminine reclamation in its pure form. Demand that we look at where we are denying feminine power, feminine wisdom, feminine gnosis. So there is this real demand, and it's a challenge. So square is a challenging aspect, but there's a demand, and the 2 is Hekate and Lilith, right? So you've got Hekate, medicine woman, oracle, seer, queen of the fucking witches, right? That's her, wise woman, crone. You think of medicine woman, right? That's Hecate. Those are Hecate mysteries, blood mysteries, womb wisdom. That's Hecate. Like, that's midwifery. soul fucking midwifery. That's Hecate, hold all of those mysteries, right? She's conjunct Lilith. Lilith is, if there was one archetype that I would associate with wild woman archetype, like just the fucking wildest aspects of the feminine, the wildest, the ones where it's just, the wild woman archetype that is like, enough of this nice girl, pretty girl shit. Enough denying your sexual potency. Enough denying the amount of life and energy and love that runs through you. That's Lilith, right? We have those two beauties, which, by the way, once you move through the purification process, the awakening process, I always kind of call it 3 different layers of it. There's dormant, there's distorted, and then there's divine distorted. I always laugh at that one. In the community, it's been dubbed developing to make it seem a little bit nicer, but let's face it, when it's dark goddess, yeah, it's developing. But it's also, when you open the door, it is also oftentimes distorted, right? Because it's not bad distorted. It's not like, it's you're literally puking out toxic femininity in you. You're puking out the rage and the pent-up anger and the pent-up grief of being let down by the patriarchy, of being limited, of being denied, of being fucking forgotten as the feminine, right? All of that comes up. So instead of that being unconscious and tucked away in a nice little neat box where it sneaks out during PMS, which PS happens a lot, right? There's a reason. It's because, oh fuck, we can't keep the lid on all of the unprocessed emotions, pain, hurt, wounds, not even from this lifetime. Let me say that again. Unprocessed pain, hurt, wounds, not even from this lifetime, not even from these experiences, from our ancestral lines, from our past lifelines, from way further beyond than where we are at. By the way, speaking of opening the karmic door, which I always talk about like a karmic backpack, where you've come into this world with past life experiences, you've come in, hold on a second, there's a part of my being that's just going, I can feel some of you, this might not be you, but I can feel some going, holy shit, where do I find out more information on this? Holy shit, Sabrina, what are you talking about? Dormant, divine, distorted, what are you talking about? Karmic backpack. Like, we'll put links in the description below. So whether you're listening to this audio podcast or you're listening to this on YouTube, I'll put links to more podcasts. I'll put links to Gift of Mysteries, which is that free week of mystery school. We dive into all of those things. We start to dive into those things there. So you can find all that below. Okay. The point in astrology, I know this is an astrology video. It's embodied astrology though. So the point in your birth chart, the point in the current astrological scene, if we were to run the chart for this new moon on the 2nd, the point that brings about those karmic ancestral lines, those past lives, that point is the south node. So there's this line in the chart, it's called South Node, North Node line. They're 2 points directly opposite each other. They have to do with nodes of the moon. Anyways, they're extremely important points in your astrological chart. I would argue that you could potentially find out more about your inner world, your soul, your soul's purpose. You could potentially find out more about like deep inner world and your soul's purpose by looking at your north-south node versus your sun. So you'll find out more by diving into north node, south node territory. It's soul. That's soul work. That's what you came here to do as a soul. That's soul purpose. That's soul journey. That's soul awakening. That's soul embodiment. That line, That's a line that you could work for the rest of your life with embodiment practices, and you could continue to open up to more gifts, more of those esoteric gifts, more of that deep wisdom, more of future visions and what it is that you really came here to do, what it is that really feels fulfilling to you. Now let me bring that back to the astrology on January 2nd. There is a dark goddess on the north node and a dark goddess on the south node. We're surrounded by truth, by feminine fucking demand for reclamation of the full feminine, right? The feminine, if we were to feel into this, if I were to feel into this and go, okay, cool, what does this mean? Right? Like, great, Sabrina, love that you're talking all this Shakti and goddess, and what the fuck does this mean for real life? If I were gonna talk about it in broad global terms, this is her. So her, you think of the feminine, you think of soul, you think of life, you think of planet, Gaia, Mother Earth, Father Sky, right? You go right back to the shamanic traditions, the indigenous traditions, and you go right back to the wisdom there. Father Earth, Mother Sky. Well, we have denied, did I say Father Earth, Mother Sky? I did. Father Sky, Mother Earth. We have denied Mother Earth. We have. It's coming more and more and more to the forefront, right? We are all starting to, even like the slow fucking governmental shit, even the big politician money makers, blah, 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 that are like raping and pillaging her for money to get minerals out of the earth to put into your cell phone, to make money, right? Even those are starting, can you feel last year was a big year for Dark Goddess as well. But it's her saying, Andrew Harvey podcast is great to listen to. He's on fucking fire in that podcast. I'll put a link up here and a link down below too. And he's going, when we start to talk about the Dark Goddess and her, it's time. It is time, right? It's enough. Like, enough. And you can feel that, and you can see that in the collective, and I don't need to go off on a tangent about that or a soapbox about that, but just feel into what's true for you. And so if that's big broad brushstrokes of what's coming for next year. So I'm going to say, if I'm going to be a predictive astrologer, which I'm not, by the way, I do, however, get really weird shit right a lot of times. I'm not saying I'm getting any of this right. Again, you feel for what's true for you. You have to take this into your own inner truth and make decisions, good decisions, discerning decisions on what feels right for you, what resonates, what doesn't, right? Take what hits and throw the rest in the fucking bucket, right? Maybe it'll hit later, maybe it'll never resonate for you. So, feeling into this, like, global climate change, the climate crisis, all of these things. I mean, I think we're still slow as fuck, and I think these are my own opinions. By the way, I watched a movie, Don't Look Up. Fuck, did they nail it, right? Leonardo DiCaprio is in there. I'm so bad with names. I can't even believe I knew his name. I know no actors or actresses. I'm so horrible with movies and things, but I watched it. And it's one of those movies that like nails the time, and it nails, like, it brings to light all the messed upness of America, of not even America, I'm sure it's beyond America, but it just like shines a light right on distorted, power tripping stuff that's really coming to light, which, by the way, is part of the astrology. It's the Pluto return for America. That movie coming out now, Don't Look Up, you might want to go watch it, maybe not, again, whatever's true for you, but that movie coming out right now and just making America look so fucking shitty. We look so shitty, but it nails so many themes. It's such a great parody of what's actually happening, and for them to make it into a movie like that was genius, in my opinion. But you'll kind of see, let me just feel, do I want to dive into Pluto at the moment? Let's dive into Pluto. He's dark god. So if we're talking about this dark feminine, by the way, this is not gloom and doom. So I know that I'm like dark. These are not like dark days. This is their evolutionary days. Their wake up days. Their move out of this consciousness level into the next level or else, right? I mean, we're human. Like, we suck at change. Majority, like as a collective species, we suck at change. We have the data for what's happening in global warming. We have the data, it's right here. But we're still not changing, right? Maybe we're making little changes, but we're not fucking changing as a whole or as a collective, right? I'm guilty of this. I'm still driving around a gasoline car, right? That sucks. My house is still being heated by propane. That sucks. And that's starting to hurt me more and more. And so if I were to, I'll go back to Dark God and Pluto in a second, don't worry. But if I were to now take this from big broad brushstrokes and make this really personal, because I like the personal, right? That's what I'm all about. Not making predictive things about what's going to happen in the world or politics or government, although I see some of that shit. But if we were to bring this back home, and if you were to bring this back into yourself, and you were to go, okay, cool. If I were to honor the feminine in me, doesn't matter what you identify as, if you identify as a particular, we all have feminine in us. If I was going to identify with Mother Earth in me, if I was going to identify with life itself, with love, with connection, if I was going to identify with that, like the very ground of being, everything that has come into form, right? It's form and formlessness. So if I was going to identify with form, I was going to identify with my dog, my children. I was going to identify with my body. I was going to identify with my sexuality. I was going to identify with creating anything in this world, right? And if I'm going to identify with this feminine aspect, this very ground of being, the beingness, the infinite all of everything, right? It's the all of everything. I'm going to identify with her. Big mama her. What can I do to come into deeper alignment, harmony, and resonance with her? What is it that's personal to me to come into deeper harmony, resonance, and alignment? And maybe for you, it's you need to move. You need to move home. Maybe for you, it's you need to simplify. You need to strip back. Maybe it's you don't need to be on a screen for 1,000 hours a day. Maybe it's that you need to be in your body a little bit more. Maybe it's that you need to go lie on the ground with your belly on the earth, right? Maybe it's that you need to do more feminine reclamation work. Maybe she's calling you like, hey, there is this whole power in you that is waiting to wake up. Maybe that's what you're called to. So this is one of those embodiment reflective practices at this moment now, where I just invite you, you can deepen into this, you can reflect on this. This is a very powerful question. So if our whole theme of today's video is getting clarity and direction for 2022, right? If that's our theme, which is a big fucking ask, by the way, but if that's our theme, you want to sit with that. You want to sit with what is the feminine, the authentic, pure, raw, real, deep feminine, asking, how can I come into, how can I know her deeper? How can I come to remember her, respect her, honor her, love her? What can I do? How am I being called to reclaim her, remember her, right? Rewild with her, right? What is she asking of me? That's very powerful and very important right now. We have a dark, like, I'm not throwing these things out at you because I'm trying to sell you on shit. I don't care, but I want to give you resources and choices so that if you are called to something, there is something to do. There's a Dark Goddess workshop. It's like $47. That's a really Medicine Woman and Dark Goddess are really beautiful workshops to do. We'll put links down below. Medicine Woman, remember, is Hekate, but it's also like Earth, blood mysteries, and Hecate is a big part of this overarching theme going into next year. Let me feel for a second. I'm getting spun off on the track of Lilith, right? So I'm feeling Hecate and I'm feeling that conjunction, which I spoke about earlier. Hecate, Lilith conjunct each other, right? So they're empowering each other. It's like the witch saying to the Demoness, like, hey, get them to reclaim their sexuality, right? That's Hecate to Lilith. Get them to reclaim their sexuality. And then Lilith back to Hecate. Sweet, I will do that. You get them to reclaim their fucking witchiness, right? And they're just like, yes, they're in cahoots. They're totally in cahoots, right? So it's like Hecate's on this shoulder, Lilith is on this shoulder. Lilith is like, enough denying your creative power, enough playing little, enough denying your body, enough having a shitty relationship with the masculine, enough, right? That's Lilith, and over here is Hecate. I don't feel Hecate quite as fiery as Lilith. Lilith is fucking fiery. She is fiery. If I were to feel Hecate's more like, she's like the wise old crone. So she's more like, I don't know, this is just kind of funny, but there's this humor in it. This, hold on, let me fix this. There's this weird sun shining in my eyes. There's this like joyful humorousness held in the crone, right? It's just like comical, held in the crone. She has crone wisdom, and she just sees, you see younger people's journey, and you know they're young, they're just trying to sort it out, and you have compassion for it, you have joy for it, you have love for it. And so she's over here like in her like weird witchy humorous way of like, come hither, young one. She's like, come here, young one. And she's like, let me show you, like, let me show you who you are. Let me show you the magic that resides within you, because you have no fucking idea. Like, let me show you what your ancestors switch off because they got burnt at the stake. Let me show you how much magic and wisdom sits in you, and it's just not switched on. That's medicine woman. That's Hecate. So again, I just talked about those two different workshops. Dark goddess would be more Lilith, and medicine woman would be more Hecate. So you can kind of feel the difference between those two, and that's, again, links are down below. Also, Mystery School, Gift of Mysteries, it's free. Right? So if you're like, I don't want to pay for a workshop, Sabrina, I just kind of want to get a taste of what the fuck it is you're talking about. Gift of Mysteries is free. That link is below, but you have to sign up quick. We start on the 1st, right? So we start like now, as soon as this is coming out, and it closes on the 4th. So you've got until the 4th to sign up. Okay. That's the dark mama. She's talking. Okay. Let's dive over to Pluto. So as long as we're in this like dark goddess, dark feminine, which is not dark bad. So let me also just this is grace. This is bringing grace to the places that we do not think are divine. We do not think are love-filled. We do not think are grace-filled. It is bringing grace and love and light to our wounds, our deepest wounds, right? The tricky, tough spots in us. We've got a rough relationship with mom. That's dark goddess territory. We've got a tough relationship with our bodies. That's dark goddess territory. We have a tough relationship with boundaries and saying no, or standing in our power, or coming into our fullness. We have a tough time being seen for who we are. We have a tough time finding our voice, speaking our truth. That's all dark goddess territory. All of that, those are the gifts that she opens up in us. So it's fucking glorious territory. Dark masculine territory. Let's talk about Pluto. Same thing. So it's him shining a light on some of the more hidden territory, some of the territory that we do not think is divine. We do not think could ever be healed or transmuted or transformed or loved. The things that we think are unlovable. Part of Pluto, which I just love and worship about Pluto, Hades, is he has this capacity to just love all the aspects of the feminine that we find unlovable, all the aspects of the feminine that the feminine finds unlovable. He has this capacity to love, right? Like if you're having a tough time loving your bleed, or loving, that cyclical nature of your body and how it changes and blood. I know that we've done a ton of this in society around like loving the blood mysteries, opening up to the blood mysteries instead of being numb to them and pushing them away and going, oh, that's so gross, Aunt Flo's visiting, right? All of that weird shit that we do. part of a Pluto gift of that, and it's not just Pluto, of course, there's many, many, many feminine, like Hecate will love the blood, she'll show you the blood mysteries. But Pluto, he will come at it from a different angle, and he will be like, this I fucking worship in you. I worship the look of your vagina. It is fucking beautiful. I worship your blood. I worship the parts of you that you do not find beautiful. I authentically, deeply, genuinely find them beautiful and fucking love them, even if you can't. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. That's one aspect of him. He's also death rebirth, right? He's also death rebirth, the death for rebirth. The phoenix rising, going to the ashes before the phoenix rises. He also has a lot to do with power, money, power and money. That's him. It's the occult, the hidden, the taboo. Power and money, it's the distorted. It's where we think we cannot divinize something, right? Now is when the rubber hits the road. So now is a good check-in for yourself of like, what do I think is not God? Because it's all God. It is all God. That's a truth. That is a truth. It is a truth, right? There is nowhere that Shakti cannot go and does not go. There is nowhere that grace and love and light cannot flow. Sure, we can cut it off and we could distort it. So let's go back to that dormant, distorted. Divine is the high expression. There are so many beliefs in our systems where it's like, oh, power. I watch women squirm when I use the word power. I watch them squirm, right? Like, oh, power is so distorted. Not this divinized power, right? This is Pluto. He holds the places that we think are not divine, are not love-filled, are not God-filled, are not grace-filled, are not Shakti-filled. And that's bullshit. That's on us. That's our own human limited creation. That's love, divinity, and grace can absolutely flow through money. You're going to have a hell of a time getting there though, but it is absolutely fucking true. Love, divinity, and grace can absolutely flow through sexuality. Can absolutely flow through sexuality. Again, you're going to have a hard time getting there, right? Because of all of the shame and the pain and the wounds and the hurt that surrounds these more taboo, more occult, more demonized aspects of society. They sit in Pluto territory. Right? So we have this, so this is why it's not dark, right? This is not the end of day. This is not, I keep saying this is not the end of days. Maybe it is the end of days. I think we're on a, who the fuck knows? I don't need to go into that. That'd be another whole hour-long conversation of what I feel and see for that. But anyways, but I just think we have a choice point. Let me just clear it up because I can hear minds thinking like, wait a second, Sabrina, can't move past that. I think we're at a choice point. I think we've been at a choice point. I think we're still at that choice point. Anyways, so if we can lean into the gift of this, right? Like we have this opportunity in this Pluto return. I mean, it's been a Pluto time for a while now, and it's going to continue to be a Pluto time for a while. And just because maybe you're not in America, but we are all interlinked now. We are all, I mean, we are so globalized. We are so really starting to embody and live from the place of all is one. All is interconnected. Maybe not all is one, because I really truly like feel that in my bones and live from that place, but as much as I can anyways. But I think we sometimes get tripped up and we hear all is one and then we go into some new age psychobabble bullshit, right? So all is interconnected. We know that, right? Stock market crashes over in this country, boom, we all take a hit. So just because you're not in America doesn't mean that this Pluto return in America is not going to affect you, because it's going to affect the world. It's going to. It's just going to. And it has to do with power. It has to do with money. It has to do with the hidden. It has to do with death and rebirth. That being said, I want to talk about financial system quickly. It's changing. It's changing. And again, you do not have to believe me at all, at all. I'm sharing this because I fucking care. Because I care about our community. I like have deep love for anyone who hangs out you know, whether I know you from being in an in-person retreat, or I know you from being in our Facebook group, or I know you from being in an online program, or I know you from Bone Circle, or I know you from mystery school coming up, you know, whether I know you or not, like I have deep love and deep reverence and deep respect for you, right? Like we spend time together energetically, we're chilling, right? Like we're hanging out, whether I can see you or not does not matter. And so there's a care that I have, and something that's really, really loud in my system, really loud in my system. And again, you take everything I share to your own inner truth, whatever doesn't resonate, put in the fuck it bucket. But what I'm seeing and feeling is the new is coming in. The new is coming in. I'm going to weave this back to Pluto, but I want to weave over here really quickly into the Saturn-Uranus square. We've been talking about that for, what has it been going on, 18 months now? I could be wrong. My brain doesn't always work numbers well when I'm in this space, but the final official Saturn-Uranus square just happened on Christmas Eve, the 24th of December. So we're still, like, they're still squaring. They're just not exact square anymore. But this, to me, was like Saturn was winning. Saturn is control, restrictions. You can feel all of that, right? Governmental restrictions, COVID restrictions, business restrictions, family restrictions, visiting restrictions, all the restrictions, right? The old patriarchy, the old boys club, right? The old structures, the old foundations, has been slowly being chipped away at, but has been winning. Like, for me, this is how it feels in my body. This is what I've observed. This is what many astrologers will also share too. But now, Aquarius is going to start to win. It's not about winning or losing. I mean, they're both bringing gifts to this. But Aquarius, the new is going to start to come in. The new technology. Think about the new technology. Think about what I just shared about global warming. What's the new technology to help support her, because she's going to keep fucking roaring. She's pissed, right? So what's the new technology that's going to help support her, right? Electric cars, maybe. I talked about the propane still heating my fucking house, right? So like think about that and feel into for yourself. Think about money. Think about investments. Think about all of those things. It's changing. It is changing. Let me feel for a second. So feel into what is new. I want to keep this on money. I want to talk a little bit more about money, and I want to talk about investments, and I want to just give you things to feel into. Things are going to be volatile for a little while, is my sense. Again, this is my sense. It's going to be volatile. Crypto, you might just roll your eyes. NFTs, you might roll your eyes. The blockchain, you might be rolling your eyes at me, and that's totally cool. But we're rolling our eyes at the very thing. We're doing the exact same thing that we did to the internet when the internet first came out. It's so fucking similar. It is so similar. We are sitting in a very similar place. Remember that .com era when everyone went crazy, like all the, techie kids, they were up just buying all the .coms, right? Like they would buy all the big brands, .com, Tide.com, that's a laundry detergent here in the States. Omo.com.au, that's one in Australia. I don't know the other countries. Those are the only countries I've lived in long enough to know laundry detergents. But all the big brands, they saw it. They saw it coming, and they didn't necessarily know how this was going to play out. But they made shit tons of money. Like, 18-year-old kid bought Tide.com, and Tide.com went, oh shit, I need the real estate that's over there in the virtual world on the internet. I need that real estate. And paid premium to get that virtual real estate, right? Can you see this? It's the same thing. It's the same thing. We're on that cutting edge of it. We're on that cutting edge. It's gonna change. It's gonna change business. It's gonna change how our medical records are held. It's gonna change how our our communities, how we commune with each other, right? It's fucking massive, and it's coming, and it's the result of Saturn-Uranus square. It's the result of moving into the age of Aquarius. It's the result of Pluto return. Like, fuck this distorted messed up financial system. We're going to evolve into something that's not perfect. I'm not saying it's perfect by any means, but it's evolving to the next level. So you do not have to take my word for any of this at all. You can, again, throw it in the fuck it bucket, but it's maybe something to feel into for yourself and to think about. And I'm sharing it because I fucking care. I know for me, like we're on the edge and we have this opportunity to, let me feel, what do I want to share here? To be on the front end of this thing. We have this opportunity to be on the front end of this thing. And I just want to offer it up to you and just say it's here. I don't know, feel into what feels true for you. Listen, research, learn some things, check it out. And again, whatever is true for you. Okay. Whew, I didn't know that we're going to go that far over there. All right, let me feel for the next piece of this puzzle. Pluto, I want to, so new technologies. Also think about yourself in new. I think we're all, here we go, getting a little bit weirdo. I think our nervous systems are upgrading. I think we're moving into the new. There's this higher states of consciousness that's just pouring in, right? My third eye and my crown, and I am not like a third eye crown kind of girl. I mean, I work in that territory a ton, but that's not normally my like go-to, right? Like I'm womb, I'm hard, I'm like in the body. But this stuff up here has just been so wide open for weeks and 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 weeks. I know part of that is I get these wrong every time. Part of that is the great attractor. Part of it is the great attractor energy. Part of it is, it's just, we are literally, if you remember in the last astrology video, I talked about Pleiadian energy. The lunar eclipse, I think it was the lunar eclipse. Anyways, we'll put links below where I talked about the great attractor. That might be something that you want to feel into if there's like a buzziness in you. That might be a video that you want to just check out after this, just the great attractor part. Mars is on the great attractor on this new moon. Great attractor energy, man, oh man. It's like a karmic vacuum is how it feels to me. It's just literally like a black hole, like a karmic vacuum that just goes, and I will take away all of the old stuff that doesn't serve you moving into the new. I also feel it as an opening or a portal or a gateway to just higher states of consciousness, higher states of consciousness, higher ways of being. To me, it's very, we got to work hard to be grounded is how it's showing up for a lot of people in my world, is like really having to do grounding practices because it's really easy to just go like, whoop, like really easy to expand out. Neptune's in play, right? Neptune is also opening up kind of the mystical realms, the unseen becoming the seen. I think for a lot of us, who work in these realms or who have been dancing in the seen and the unseen in different states of consciousness and just on an awakening path is it's almost like the unseen is becoming just as real as the seen, or we're in this moment of time. I don't know if that'll continue, but it's been like this window of a few weeks of the unseen, like dreams, you know, even if you're not like a huge meditator or things aren't necessarily happening in the waking consciousness, but maybe you're seeing, I don't know, your guides stronger, or you're seeing other energies in stronger ways, or feeling them or sensing them, or maybe your dreams are becoming more real, but it's this real, like, what is the seen? What is the unseen? It's almost like this like fissure or crack in reality a little bit, like fissure, crack in reality. And that's Uranus too, right? Uranus too is bringing this like fissure or crack in reality of like, blah, ha, ha, everything you thought was real is bullshit, right? It's kind of like going to some of Buddha's teachings of it's all an illusion. It's all an illusion. And so, but that's part of what Uranus is, right? Is waking up, is kundalini energy, is you're waking up, you're like fissures and cracks in reality to higher states of consciousness. It's coming at us from all angles, really. It's fucking beautiful, but it's also kind of like, hold on, you know, because it's so big and so potent, and I think some of us are getting really thrown off kilter, thrown out of balance, and it's scrambling our mind. It's bringing us to a place of like, oh my God, am I on the right path here? This is so fast. Like, it's not even being consciously aware of this is so fast and so furious of an awakening process or an evolutionary process or a shifting process. That's where it's tough. So feel into this. Those might be the very words that you needed to hear today, right? It is a time of rapid transformation, and sometimes we're not conscious of it. Sometimes it's happening through illness, through sickness. There's a lot of studies done, a lot of research on viruses, which is what COVID is, a virus. On virus, I was a microbiology major, by the way. Isn't that insane? I was a fucking scientist. Crazy to me. I'm still a little bit of a scientist. I'm such a fucking nerd sometimes. I could geek out on cryptocurrencies too. Like, I could totally geek out on that. That's my next thing. I'm geeking out on NFTs, cryptocurrencies, how I don't know how we can build this community that actually, that everyone wins, right? Now I'm gonna get a little bit crazy. This is also my Uranian talking, like the Uranus piece in me. It's midlife crisis for me. So if you are into astrology, you'll know, like 40, 39 to, I don't know, it depends on when you go through it and like what's happening up in the skies. But it's like that 40 period, 40, 45, where we all call it the midlife crisis. It's all astrology, right? It's all astrological lineups. And I'm moving into the Uranus phase, which is, I think, so fucking awesome. Sorry to go off on a personal tangent, but this is why I love astrology. It's because you can get insights that you wouldn't normally have. It's so fucking awesome to be in this massive transit, which is very aligned with new technology, right? And so it's literally like my whole system is just open, splayed open in this crazy way. And nervous system being rewired, brain being rewired, just everything being rewired in a way of, I can actually understand this NFT shit without even knowing it. Like, I can understand the cryptocurrencies. I can understand it without, I fucking get it, and it's coming. It's coming. And I think part of the only reason that I am getting it is it's just because that Uranus piece is so alive and so awake in me. But what I wanted to share with you, and what I want to just kind of hit home on again, is you might be feeling really out of sorts, and you might be feeling like, holy shit, I have no direction. So remember, if this conversation is about direction and clarity in 2022, also sometimes the direction and the clarity is to just sit tight for another minute or another week or another month, right? Is to just, if the clarity isn't there and the direction's not there, that's, if we're not denying our intuition, right? Because sometimes we get the hit and we're like, oh, I don't know that I want to go there. And that can all be unconscious too. But just really feel for your truth and really feel, is this a time of outward action? It might be a big time of inward action. So I know we're like New Year's and we want external expression, manifesting expression. By the way, this new moon is falling in Capricorn, and Capricorn is all about bringing it in. Capricorn's all about manifesting. Saturn, remember I was saying the Saturn-Uranus square, neither of them are bad. I was saying Uranus is gonna win, but the beauty, a friend of mine, who's super fucking oracle, her and I have the craziest conversations, and let me just feel for a quick second. I'm just trying to feel. This my brain just goes like, wait, there's something else there. Let me feel. No, I think all that I really want to say here is in this space of trusting what the action is, and if it is in fact something that looks like a fucking New Year's resolution, which I just want to fuck all of those off anyways. I think it's a really funny time to be. Thank God that a new moon is falling near the New Year's, right? Because it's actually like, oh, okay, cool. We are actually in resonance with something greater than just our human collective consciousness deciding that this is a starting point, right? We're in resonance with her. We're in resonance with the moon. We're in resonance with something way greater than just human collective consciousness, which, by the way, has a serious force to it in itself, but something like deeper, something deeper. So I love that the new moon is falling this close to New Year's. And to me, that's really the only reason why it gets to be a starting point. Most New Year's I don't think are starting points. They don't feel like one to me. They come later. The astrological New Year isn't until we move into Aries. So it's interesting. So really, what I'm saying here is honor and trust what your deep body wisdom is saying to you and what you're deeply being called to do. Whether that's moving forward in the Capricorn energy. So let me finish off on that note, is Capricorn is about bringing that square. This is what I was talking about with my friend that I kind of skipped over, got like waylaid off into, her brain for a second, but feeling into that square and saying Uranus is winning. And her question to me was, because she's fucking pissed off at Saturn. She's pissed, and I don't think she's the only person. I have deep love for Saturn, deep respect for that. To me, he, like in his divinized form, in his highest, most elevated form, he's Shiva. Like he's straight up divine masculine, and there's nothing he can't hold. There's nothing he can't hold. But what I shared with her was like, my sense right now is that what his gift is that Uranus has this capacity to just like lightning bolt and fly off the planet and never actually ground it, never actually bring it in, never make it manifest, never bring it into the world. And so to me, this Saturn-Uranus square is Saturn saying, let me, in my stubborn way where I'm holding on and clinging to the old, but once I get past that, okay, cool, let me help you bring the new in. Let me help you manifest it. Let me help you to make an electric car with this. Let me help you to bring cryptocurrencies and NFTs in and a whole new web 3.0. Let me help you to bring these things into physical, tangible, earthy world. That's the gift of Saturn. And so this new moon falling in Capricorn, there is that. So there is that. But trusting your inner feels and your inner wisdom of, do you feel like, yes, it is time to move forward, and the new chapter is this. I'm just feeling Venus retrograde, which I'll talk about in a second. And then I think we'll end on that because this is a long video. By the way, if you're loving this, if you find this helpful, useful, what is really a great gift to us and what is really helpful for us is to hit the like button. If you don't want to miss any of these, I do one every new moon, every full moon, hit the subscribe button. If you want to get the written astrology report, which is in addition to this, there's a link below, sign up for the ReWilding newsletter. That's where we do astrology, is the ReWilding newsletter. So sign up for that, that's totally free, and you get additional astrology stuff, plus all of the fun free shit that we give away, which is pretty cool, like Week of Mystery. So Gift of the Mysteries too, if that's still on offer when you're listening to this. I would sign up, even if you're like, wow, I don't think I have time, Sabrina, just come and do one workshop. Come and do 30 minutes of Wisdom Circle. Come and listen to a lecture, right? It's fucking energy that I cannot duplicate anywhere. I cannot bring it here on a public live and YouTube. I can't. It needs a sacred fucking space. And you have to put your email in. That's it. To get into the sacred temple space, all you need to do is give us your email so I can send it to you. That's it. I'm smiling because I'm thinking about just the intensity of the energetics of holding that space in the way that we do for a week. For thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of people around the world. It's really full on, and I want to thank my team and everyone who helps me to hold that space for everyone to journey through it. It's a profound honor. Okay, so let me finish off on the astrology, really feeling into what's true for you and honoring that. So when it comes to clarity and it comes to direction in 2022, really getting to your truth. Really getting to your truth, because what might be happening is that action might be taking place inwardly right now. It might be inner transformation. It might be an inner new chapter. It might be an inner new beginning for this new moon versus an external one. We always want the external. We want like, I want to see it, I want to feel it, I want to touch it, but it might be on the inside. So just, and the only little thing that I want to put in there or weave into there is, let me feel, Venus is retrograde and she's dancing with Pluto. That's, you can go check out the previous full moon video. Again, we'll put a link up here and we'll put a link down below too, where I talk more about this Venus Pluto. I really go into some stuff around the Venus Pluto. It's a gorgeous territory to work in, similar to Lilith. So remember what I talked about, Lilith, that dark goddess, and those gifts of Pluto, loving the feminine in that way. That's a big theme, and it's going to continue on as Venus stays retrograde. She's retrograde for 40 days, 40 nights. Can't remember the exact day that she went retrograde. We're maybe a week, 10 days into it, something like that. So you can kind of feel into that. But because she's retrograde and Venus brings about our pleasure, she brings about, let me feel, our deepest desires, our pleasure, our sexuality, our beauty, what we find beautiful. She really brings that aspect of the feminine to life. And so let her and her dance with Pluto open some of the deeper desires that you have, the more hidden ones. And they're not even necessarily having to be taboo hidden or dark hidden or naughty hidden, but just maybe they haven't come to the surface, or maybe, but it's just like for me, I'll share mine because this is just a good random personal story. For me, I have such pleasure, like such fucking pleasure I get out of geeking out on NFTs and cryptocurrency and going, oh my God, like what is this new, like what's coming? I've been feeling this for 2 years. Finally, it's here. Finally, I'm starting to see it. Finally, like it's starting to be accepted. I'm fucking loving this. And that's not something that opened up in me until Venus went retrograde, because it was like like the door opens to owning. That's not even a taboo pleasure. Like who gives a shit? But it's something that I just didn't see before. I just didn't see how much pleasure, how much that lights me up. If I was up until 2 in the morning. I go to bed at like 7 p.m. I'm up until 2 in the morning last night, knowing I have all of this filming to do today. I'm up until 2 in the morning, like studying, researching, writing notes, getting super excited. Like, how can our community make money off of being part of our community? Like, there is some really cool shit coming out. And yeah, we're gonna do it because I'm geeking out on it, and it's my Venus pleasure. It's Pluto shining a light on, hey, this is what you love, sunshine, just fucking do it. All right, it has been an absolute honor to be with you in this way. If there's someone you know that could gain something from this video, please share it with them. Please leave a comment in the section below. I want to read out one comment. This is one comment, and it's really good. I'm going to leave us on this. It's to do with divine masculine and to do with the practice. So every podcast, I'm going to give a shout out to a comment or a review if you're listening to this on our audio podcast. Reviews and comments on our YouTube video. So here's the one. This is from Marianne, and this is from our last Embodied Astrology video. So I think that was on the Venus. That was the like dancing heart's desires or deeper heart's desires or hidden heart's desires. Anyways, this is her comment. So Marianne, huge shout out. Thank you, woman. This is so beautiful. Watched this twice. So many treasures here. I've been following ReWilding for several years, and the journey keeps getting clearer and clearer. That was one thing that I really wanted to share. This years, right? And the journey getting clearer and clearer and clearer and clearer and clearer and clearer. So kind of just to give us all a little bit of hope, like shit gets easier, you know, depending on where you're at the spiritual journey, like shit gets easier. One thing that I resonate with is to bring consciousness into the room. So if you're curious about what this is, go check out that video. I'll put it next. So I'll put it coming up next, and I'll put it in a link below too, and you'll find it up here in a link right now, or on this side. I don't know which side it goes on. One of those sides. Is to bring consciousness into the room, opening and expanding to my own true north. This will be with me at the next time I walk into a virtual meeting, mostly filled with very masculine energy. Bringing grace to divine masculinity. Sabrina, right on point for me. Enjoy some moon time, everyone. All is a gift. So that's what I would love to leave you with. Again, feel free to like, comment, subscribe, share if you're listening on the podcast. Reviews really help us out, and I'll keep reading one of those comments that I feel like gifts our community. And yeah, just brings us some good stuff. Okay, happy new moon, happy new year, happy mystery schooling. If you're joining us for mystery school, again, Gift of the Mysteries is a free week where we're just gonna do some practices together. We're gonna dive into the heights and the depths. So spirit and soul, divine masculine-ish gifts, divine feminine gifts. Mystery school is much more embodied soul feminine path. It is a women's mystery school, this one. So if you primarily identify with woman, you are so welcome to join us. Okay, that's it for me. Oh my God, I love you all. I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you. Mwah.